Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY projects, we will be creating some fun and easy Christmas and holiday home decor DIYs made with supplies from the Dollar Tree and cheap or free wood pieces. Now these projects all have a really fun and festive holiday theme, and they would be perfect for your home, for gifts, or even craft shows. Now as always, all of the projects that I do create have the complete supply list in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather up your supplies. Now before we start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you're a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well and stick around to enjoy these crafts and the different ways that I will show you how to style these in your space. So now let's just jump right into all of the projects. Now this project is a set of wood snowman decor pieces. Now I'm going to be using this free scrap piece of wood that I picked up from the wood cutting section at my home improvement store, and some quart-sized craft sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. So what I did is take my scrap piece of wood and I cut it into 4 pieces at 9 inches all the way down to 6 inches. Now what I'm going to do with my wood pieces is I'm going to be painting them to look like snowman. So I'm just going to lay them out, and then I first want to mark where that hat will be placed. So in order to determine this, I just took my ruler and I measured down approximately 3 inches, and that's where I'll put my painter's tape to mark the line where the bottom edge of my hat will be on my snowman. Now once I mark that first piece, I'm just going to transfer it over to the second block at 3 inches as well. Now for the last 2 blocks, I think I went about 2 and about 2.5 inches for those. Just do it based on the size of your snowman. Now I'm going to paint the top of the hat with some black acrylic paint, and you just want to make sure that that paint tape is really tight on that wood block, and then go ahead and apply some of that acrylic paint all around the top portion of your block. Now you want to do this for all of your blocks and let that sit to completely dry, and then while that dries, go ahead and paint both sides of your craft sticks as well, and this will be the brim of the hat, so we just want to make sure all of these are painted as well. Okay, so now all of our blocks are nice and painted, we can go ahead and we're going to remove that painter's tape. We're going to flip it around and reapply it again on the bottom edge of that black painted piece, and this will be the edge for the snowman. So we're using that same tape over again, and we're going to be painting the body of the snowman in some white chalk paint. Now again, just to go ahead and apply 1 to 2 coats, and I used 1 coat for my snowman, and I'm just going to paint this all the way around on that bottom half of the block. And here are all of them painted, and just allow them to completely dry. Okay, so now that our snowmen are nice and dry, go ahead and remove all of the painter's tape from all of your pieces. And now we can grab those craft sticks. Now I'm going to determine how big I want the brim of my hats to be. So I'm going to first cut one of the edges straight off. I'm going to lay it down and then cut it again on the other side just to see how much of an overlap that I like. I think I went about 1/2 inch on mine. So once I get that piece cut, I'm just going to trace it onto the remaining sticks to make sure that they're all the same size. And now we're just going to hot glue these in place. I'm using some wood hot glue, or you can use wood glue. Just adhere that stick right across the seam of the 2 colors, and you want to do this for all of your blocks. And here they are all done. So now here is the fun part. I'm going to just draw some faces on my snowman. This is where you could just get so creative and fun with it. And I'm just going to draw a pair of basic eyes, and I'm doing a coal block kind of smile for this. I'm just having fun with this. You can make any kind of silly face you want on your snowman, and this is what I came up with for mine. Now I want to go in with some of this Harvest Orange acrylic paint, and this will be the corn cob nose for my snowman. So I'm just going to place a little triangle type shape nose for each one of my snowmen, and here is what they all look like. So now that that's dry, we can take our poster letters, and I'm going to place the word snow across the bottom of each one of my snowmen. But the most important thing is make sure you lay your snowmen out in the order you want them to appear in, so your letters will be in the right place. So once you decide on how you want them to be placed, go ahead and start adding your letters to the bottom of each one of your snowmen. Now these poster letters do fit perfectly on here, and if you don't have the poster letters and you have a cutting machine, you could definitely cut out the letters as well to fit the size of the block that you're using for your project. And you're just going to apply all of those letters about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Now these stick pretty well, and you really don't need any Mod Podge or anything, but you definitely can do that. So now what I'm going to do is start embellishing the top of the hat, and I'm using some of this red and black checkered ribbon for the top. So I'm just going to put that right above the top of the brim of my snowman's hat, and I'm going to wrap it just around to the sides. Now I'm going to be applying this with just a little bit of hot glue just to secure that in place. And I wanted to embellish the corner, so I have a little holly leaf that I had in my scrap bin, along with a little cluster of berries from the Dollar Tree to stick right on there to just to give it a little embellishment. And then all we have to do is trim off the tails of all of those ribbons sticking out. And there we go, we have one completed snowman, and now we can do this for all of them, and now they're ready for display. And here are all of my handsome snowmen on display, and I am so loving the way that these turned out. Now all of the little details to these guys really makes them look great, and you never know what can be made out of a discarded piece of wood. Now the back of these is painted too. You can decorate that for a different season if you like. You all have to let me know what you think about this project in the comments below. Now this project is a large holiday wood frame. Now we're going to need 4 pieces of the 5-gallon paint stir sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents, and some branch garland that I got from the thrift store, and holiday picks from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing we do is cut down those 5-gallon sticks. We want to cut the handles off of them, and they're going to end up to be 17 inches for 4 of the sticks. And now we're going to lay out all of our 4 sticks, and we want to form a frame with them. So when I lay them out, I noticed the sides could have been a little shorter, so I'm going to trim the sides down a little bit to about 14 inches. So I'm going to lay those 14-inch pieces on top of those 17-inch pieces, and once you like the frame, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering them in place. Now I'm going to be using my wood glue for this, but you can certainly use hot glue, or you can use any other method that you would like to use. So I'm going to apply that wood glue in each one of the corners of that 14-inch stick, and then place it right on top. Now you definitely want to use a carpenter square for this to make sure your corners will be nice and square. Then just repeat this on the other side, and I clipped it together with some Dollar Tree clips just to make sure it doesn't shift out of place while it's drying. So I let it dry for about 10 minutes, and now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to remove the clips and follow up with 3 3/8-inch staples in each one of the corners, and this should hold it secure in place until that wood glue completely dries. So now what we're going to do is we are going to be painting our frame. Now you can certainly stain it if you like, but I decided to paint it for this project, and I'll be using some white chalk paint. I'm just going to apply 1 to 2 coats for the frame, making sure you get it on the top and the sides of the frame, and you can paint the back too, and that's completely optional. Now here's my frame. It's all now completely painted. Now let it completely dry. Now while that dries, I'm going to take a piece of printer paper, and I want to write out in really large letters the word joy. I wanted to add this as an accent to my frame, so I'm just writing a capital J-O-Y on here, and I want to create some block letters. So once I get the basic letter layout, I'm just going around and making a block letter of each one of those letters just by tracing the outside and inside of it. And here's what it looks like. So I'm just going to go around with my Sharpie just to make sure I get the size in mind and that I know that the shape is looking okay for my project. Now you can definitely print these out on a printer if you like, but I just wanted to do a freehand sketch. So what I have here is some printed buffalo check scrapbook paper that I made, and I adhered it to 2 sheets of cardstock, or you can use poster board just to make it a little thicker. Now what I'm going to do is clip the J, or each one of the letters, to that scrapbook paper, and I want to cut it out with a utility or an X-Acto knife, and you just want to carefully trace around the outside of each one of those letters. And once you completely do that, you have your letter J in this buffalo check, and you want to repeat this for the O and the Y. So now you have all 3 of your letters for your frame, and I'm going to be placing these along the side of my frame when I get to that point. I just want to make sure they all fit okay, and so I'm going to set those to the side for now and work on the top hand corner. Now this corner I'll be putting my garland embellishment, so I'm going to grab that garland and unbundle it, and this is a branchy style garland that I got from the thrift store for $1. So I'm just going to cut it down so where I have a piece going down the side and across the top, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces. I'm just going to figure out how the branches are going to lay, and once I like how they're laying, I'm going to just put it against the frame, and I am just going to staple it to the frame in a couple places. Now once that side is done, we want to go across the top as well with the other branch piece, and we're going to staple that one in place as well. Now here are all pieces in place. So now what we're going to do is take these little floral picks, and I got these from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree really has a great selection of floral picks this year, and I picked these up. So I'm going to lay one on each one of the sides, and I'm going to kind of tuck that stem down into the side of that garland, and then go ahead and staple that in place as well. Now I probably will be repurposing these bunches again in the future, so I didn't want to use hot glue for any of this, so I did staple them in place. Now once that's done, I'm going to take my joy letters and I am going to put them down the side of my frame as an accent. Now here I am showing that I am hot gluing it in place, but I do recommend you use like a removable tape so you'll be able to shift and replace these at different times depending on how you want to display on this, but I'm just going to hot glue them in place for demonstration for this project. So now I'm going to be using some of this buffalo check fabric, ribbon that I actually picked up from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do to make a bow for the corner is I'm just going to fold it over itself about 4 times, just making sure I have at least 6 layers. I'm going to have 6 layers on this bow, so I'll have 3 ribbons on each side. And once it's stacked 6 layers thick, then I'm going to take a piece of this jute twine. I am going to cut a piece. I'm going to bunch up that bundle, and I'm going to tie that jute twine right in the middle of the bow just to make sure it's nice and secure. And then I can go ahead and fluff out the loops of the bow on each side. Now you can make this even fluffier if you want to, but the 6 layers worked for me for this project. So then I cut a long piece for the tails and then a piece to wrap around the middle. So I'm going to gather up that tail piece and gather up that middle piece, and I'm just going to tie that all together in the middle by tucking the tails in first, wrapping around that center piece so those tails are caught in there, and then tying it together on the back and then securing it with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm just going to puff out my bow a little bit, and then I'm going to be cutting the little tails at the end of the bow. Now I'm in no way a perfect bow maker. I'm just kind of winging it here, so I'm just going to make it work for this project. Now I did apply just a little dab of hot glue in the corner for the bow, and here it is secured into place, and this is what the frame will look like. Now to hang it, all I'm going to do is flip it over. I'm going to apply a staple on the end of a knotted piece of jute twine, and that is it. That is all you have to do to hang this piece. And check out this gorgeous frame, you guys. I absolutely love it. Now I think that all of these beautiful holiday colors on this white frame look amazing, and they really do make the colors pop. Now you can make this in any holiday color scheme that you like, and you can change out the picks by simply removing the staple. And now removable tape would be a great idea for the joy letters as well. Now this is designed to be an open frame design, but you can definitely add an image if you like. Now I've added this holiday gift bag to the back of the frame with some double-sided tape. Now the Dollar Tree always has bags that are frame worthy, so you can switch out the image as much as you like too. Now another option is to go ahead and flip it on its side for a horizontal gift bag to display. Now I love all of these possible options, and it keeps your decor looking refreshed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now this project is a Christmas wish wood plank design. Now we'll need some of these wood planks from the Dollar Tree or planks of your choice. Now I'm just going to remove 4 of the planks from the package for this project. Now I did want my planks to be colored, so what I'm going to do is stain them, and you have a choice. You can use antique wax or you can use standard stain, but for this project I am going to be using the antique wax. Now when I apply the wax, I'm going to apply a nice thin coat over the entire surface of the plank, and I'm also going to make sure I get the sides as well. Now when you do apply this, you want to follow up with a paper towel to remove all of the excess wax on all of the pieces, and here are all of the pieces with the wax. Now once you allow those to completely dry, we're going to go ahead and grab them and lay them out on a grid mat face down. Now we want to lay these out on a grid mat to make sure they're spaced evenly, about 1.25 inches apart, and then I'm going to tape them down to the mat because when I connect these all together, I want them to hang absolutely even, so I'm using my painter's tape to secure it to the mat. Now to hang these, I will be using this buffalo check gingham ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon that you like for this, or you could even use chain if you like. And I'm just gonna grab a piece that has enough to have a loop at the top, but will go down the side of each one of those planks evenly. Now to adhere it, I'm just gonna run a bead of my hot glue along the back of each plank about 1 inch in from the edge, and I'm just gonna run it all the way down the side. Then take the side of your ribbon and you want to lay it right on top of that glue, making sure that it's nice and straight. And then we're going to repeat this for the other side and make any adjustments necessary before hot gluing it down into place, just by applying that glue about 1 inch from the edge, just like the other side, and then placing that ribbon in place. Now you can remove it from your mat and flip it over, and now you have your hanging piece for your base of the project. So now what I'm going to do is lay out my mat and grab my piece. So now we are going to decorate it. Now I wanted my sign to say, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." So what I have gone ahead and done is I have actually used my cutting machine to cut out the words, "We wish you a Merry Christmas" on here. But you do not need a cutting machine for this project, because I will include the template of the wording in the description box below. And this file is a PNG, which you can upload to your cutting machine, or you can just actually trace it onto your planks. Now to trace it, all you would have to do is color the back with a pencil as shown here, lay it on top of your plank, trace over the letters, and the letters will transfer to your plank. Once you have that guide, all you have to do is grab some acrylic paint or a paint pen as shown here and go right over your letters, and you will have the same result. So I'm going to start by removing my letters and words from my cutting design, and I put the first plank is going to say "We wish." Now I'm going to be offsetting my letters off to the side because I will be adding a bit embellishments, but feel free to add them wherever you like to your planks. And I'm just going to continue down with all of the letters all the way down so they're all applied. And now that they're all applied, all we have to do now is embellish them. Now I'm using some holly branches that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I also have some mini pine cones from the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm going to start with my holly bushes, and I'm going to apply them on the side of my wording. Now you can apply whatever type of embellishments that you like for your sign. This is what I had on hand for holidays. I thought it would look really pretty, and the colors are really bright and festive. Now for a couple of the planks, I'm taking a sprig of a pine branch and I'm going to glue that up at top, and then I'm going to add some pine cones in a cluster at the bottom. I just thought that was really cute, so I'm adding some pine cones to that cluster. And once that's hot glued into place, I'm going to repeat this on the bottom Christmas sign as well. Now here are all of my embellishments on my sign. Now I did want my branches and my pine cones to have a frosty effect, so I'm taking some white acrylic paint and I am dry brushing on a little bit of that paint on the pine cones and the branch just to make sure it has a nice frosty, snowy look. And once you allow that to dry, all you have to do is to hang your project. Now I did want to add just a little bit more embellishment at the bottom of the stem of my berries. It was bothering me just a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little stem to cover that bare stump of the hollies, and that is it. And there you go. And here it is, you guys. This is such a sweet sign to hang up and welcome your guests. This was so easy to do, and you can add as much or as little embellishment as you like. And you have an option to use your cutting machine or hand tracing with the file that I provide in the description box below. Now, I really had fun creating all of these projects today, and I hope that I've inspired you to create your own versions of these. Now, as always, I love them all, but let me know in the comments which one was your favorite today. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.